On today's Minute of the Apes, fuck daylight savings time.
Divine bomb.
They are the good human and the dead human.
Where there is fire, there is smoke.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. It's Friday again. I'm Todd. Across from me, I'm going to start this way, is Richard, who is smiling at me.
Hey.
And then Sean. Happy Friday, boys.
Heyo.
We are here wrapping up another week. You know, we've made people wait so many times. Let's get right to it. Minute 40. Sean, tell us what's going on.
All right, we're going to start minute 40 with a kid getting in on the Chris/Estella action and ends with a clap off the clapper.
All right, let's start with the clapper. Here it comes. Minute 40. Tim Burton, Marky Mark, Chris Christopherson, they're doing Planet of the Apes.
She promised to show me the way back to where they caught us.
This is one of their house humans. He thinks he's better than us. He thinks he's part Ape.
Hey! We'll go together.
As of minute 40, we have an Oberon's worth of apes and humans, and 2 displaced pods worth of apes and humans, and wild humans, and Ape City, and 2 dead apes.
All right, I'm going to try and visually describe what may be the most erratic minute we've had so far of any of the films. We get Estella hugging Chris. We get a weird member of the Lost Boys from a Peter Pan film is now, I guess, her little brother or something like that snuggling in. We see Marky Mark coming and talking to them. Our African-American bald gentleman runs up and accosts the bald white guy that is a house human.
I think he's Egyptian, actually.
It maybe is. I don't know what he is. He is not.
He's not
black.
Caucasian.
He is something that is whatever. So we get them going back and forth as they look around. Suddenly, Marky Mark's a little cautious as their voices rise, and he looks over his shoulder, trying to make sure nothing's happening. Chris proclaims that we'll do it together, and they all leave, and suddenly they're not mad at the house human anymore. It just runs along with them. We run down steps. We see the Lost Boy in his shimmering costume leading the way. As they run outside, we see a group of 4 chimpanzees dressed in, the best I can see is almost like what Michael Jackson wore in the Billie Jean video kind of jackets. They're out drinking, singing, being silly. They go nuts as they run, our humans run by. The humans run on. Again, the screen direction is kind of, it's not as bad. It's weird. It's a weird cut. We see a gorilla that is weirdly chewing like his face, called rah rah. As he turns around, he thinks he hears something. We see them run, and then we cut into what becomes the moment of true confusion, which is our orangutan senator weirdly stirring, I guess, some ice cubes, a drink, as Lisa Marie begins to sexily saunter down the steps, her arms swinging like a chimpanzee, and I guess she's trying to seduce her man as she jumps up and gives him a clap. Not the clap, but a clap.
Oh, by the way, Eric Avari, he's Indian. He's from Darjeeling, India.
Okay,
that's
good.
where he's
Thank
born.
you.
I think I just remember him from, like...
I've seen him in things.
Stargate, and he was Egyptian in that, so that's why I thought he was Egyptian. All right, sorry.
I don't even know where to begin with this. The one thing that immediately hits me as a beginning point is our African American, I guess I hate to call him
wild
slave.
Let's call them wild humans and house humans. That's
Okay.
what we've got.
So he's a wild human.
Yeah.
Accost the house human, which I immediately, God, that just makes it feel so wrong since the word house something
and then that,
and
yeah.
a
the
person
black-
of color
saying that, yeah.
that usually goes along with a very derogatory term, and I thought, wow, today that probably wouldn't make it past a group of people being aware of how that is perceived socially.
Yeah.
But the weird part of it is that he is holding him, even though they basically say he thinks he's better than us. He thinks he's part ape, and then Marky Mark gets him a hey, we'll go together. It goes from this African American gentleman is glaring down at our Egyptian person.
Uh-huh.
And they suddenly just push him along. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, he pulls him to him, like, come with me. Like, all right, cool. Or he's part of our group now. I'm like, what just happened? I don't even know why there was any... Are we trying to give a reason for him to follow them now after they left the house? Are we setting up bigger political issues again that they never really actually bring home? Like, it's just one of those...
It just doesn't make a lot of sense. We need to find a way for them all to run together. They run out of this room, and again, the Lost Boy is leading them down the stairs before we get the chimpanzees dancing in the
Well,
streets.
I was about to say, is that supposed to be the monkeys, or is it supposed to be the Rolling Stones? Because one of them's wearing a headband.
the monkeys would be hilarious.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
It's
Because there
bad,
are four of
whatever
them
it is.
playing music, drinking, hanging out. So I feel like it's supposed to be a little end joke of some sort.
And I'm okay.
Especially
I'm okay
the
with
one wearing a headband and looking very much like Keith Richards.
But he's also the one that's kind of not really seen to the camera. You almost have
Yeah.
to look, and if they're trying to play a joke, you could do that better.
Yeah, I definitely agree, but I just feel like that's supposed to be a joke there.
I assume they're just kids hanging out, partying, and they're supposed to be the tip-off as to why they now get busted by a guard ape that now kind of yells at them.
So the humans run by them, and the one thing I will say is that if this had been the original film, these would have been pullover masks that would probably look awful. These are pretty good. Makeup there is pretty good.
Oh, yeah, they didn't skimp, yeah.
The Keith Richards one is in the bottom left, a little bit of a goatee. Even the ones in the middle all look very ape-esque. They're good. It works. But then when it cuts to the gorilla, that is just kind of...
I heard some kids making some noise. Or
Right.
does he hear the kids? And he's mad at the kids for making noise? Or
yeah.
did he smell them?
Right. And it just, these moments are so rushed that you just don't, it's like are they sprinting through this city to get out? And they think if they sprint, they can get past everything. That's the way it feels. It's sort of cut.
Yeah,
like,
because you
bam,
think you
bam.
want to hide from the apes.
It's a
and not
lot.
be-
It's a lot of people to try and get through the city relatively quickly. Like, I'm surprised they're not a little more stealthy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got like 5 people running through the city. Have you seen the last Jurassic World that came out?
We got
Unfortunately,
6. We
yes.
got 6 people running.
It felt like they had to have everybody be in every scene where you had the old cast had to be there, and then you had to have the new cast be there in the same scene, and then they had to have kids with them, so you had like 12 people in one scene all trying to rescue each other, but all had to be the main one because I'm Chris Pratt, but no, I was in the original one,
And it felt like they had to acknowledge that
Everybody,
every 2 times.
yeah.
It couldn't ever just be we're all here together. This is the person put front of scene.
Uh-huh.
They all had to have. Oh, but I've been here before. Well,
Yeah.
it was awful.
no. Sorry, anyways, but that's what it feels like. It's like
it does.
too much.
So they run through, and I know we're cutting in a minute, and I know we're going to get a payoff for the final part of this, which is the weirdest ooky part of the entire movie.
Strangest thing of the whole movie, yeah.
Is
Two different species.
yeah,
Come
and
on.
that's okay. So
I don't know if it happens. We have mules because a horse and a donkey will have sex, and you get a mule. So 2 different breeds can have sex and create another offspring. But in the wild, does an orangutan like a chimpanzee?
Right.
Can they mate together? I'm assuming they can mate, but can they reproduce? Would they be attracted to each other? I mean,
I do like his makeup
yeah,
as he's laying there. The little face
the
pouches.
big face flaps or whatever.
And
Yeah,
it's great. Even again, if you're going to do this thing where you're just building a snout atop the nose, and using the volume of a nose to make a snout, and you're going to leave the chin so that the lip sync can actually happen. I said it that I think last 2 weeks ago. put the fucking goatee on their chin, and it makes it look like a bigger snout. It's those,
Yeah.
and it's one of the reasons
Yeah.
the women look so weird. Is it all just comes down together? In
Because if you were to look at a male and a female chimpanzee in real life in general, I think you know, if you just look at a face, you'd say, I don't know if it's a male or female.
Right.
Because they look
they
so
don't have
similar.
masculine,
They don't have
features.
masculine or feminine features, yeah.
But he looks great, weirdly stirring whatever this ice is. I'll give him that. This is his proclivities towards stirring of ice, whatever.
Right.
It's when Lisa Marie in the left of frame begins coming down the stairs, and she is really swinging the whole chimpanzee. My arms are up. She has a veil in front of her face.
Mm-hmm.
She comes down and lows it and gives him a ooh. Now, on a side note, this is the second time she's made that noise. She made it at the dinner party. I meant to tell you all this the other day. Abby, whenever she's upset with me, she'll go, and so every time I've heard this, I'm like, man, I am never going to look at Abby again without hearing Alicia Marie go, But
Where did this come from?
I don't know.
Where did this cut come from? Like, what was this jump we just made?
I mean, are they going to be running through this house? Or why are we showing this going off?
Well, it's also, again, you want to talk about weird cuts. Usually, if you're going to go from location to location and a massive location like this, you would cut wide and let them run through a location.
Right.
And let the moment sit for half a second so I can drink it in, then cut inside these people's house. And I go, oh, they're going to go into this place. I don't know that I've ever seen this.
You
Like,
just went right to it.
it literally,
Here's
literally
a sexy
cuts,
scene.
It literally cuts from Gorilla Dude turning to watch him, the camera panning right, left, and them running up some kind of thing inside this house. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Lisa Marie, okay. I will say this. She has great eyes.
That weird spin that she does where she kind of hunched over and...
When she comes in and lowers that veil, her eyes and looking outside, they're very sexy, like perfect for this role kind of eyes. And she
Todd,
pulls that
it's
look
okay.
off.
If you want to fuck an ape, you can tell us.
I'm just going to tell you right now, that is my material for the next few days is weird ape lady coming down the stairs. But she comes over. Okay. This is something that bothers me when we start putting humans in apes' clothes, and we talk about the masculine to feminine features. I only know this because Abby did a paper once, and it was talking about what we do with feminine ideas and culture, and it was talking about breasts being one of them. It was such a feminine, distinctive thing. And then Abby in her paper wrote about that, or something. It was paper, something like that. That the humans are the only feminine culture that the breasts stay permanently enlarged. The rest of them come and go. And so when you look at this, and she comes out, and look, Lisa Marie's a very voluptuous woman. She's very curvy. That's half of the thing in Mars Attacks is her look with that.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have done. It's just so obvious that it is a human wearing a monkey mask. It is because she comes out and it's just like there she is. She looks like a woman.
It's a lady that looks a little weird.
Well, it's
Beyond weird.
Taking a little bit into the kind of unbelievable stuff. Her hair moves like a wig. She does the spin to catch some movement in the hair, which I applaud the actor for trying to do. But somebody should have stopped her and said, "Hey, that's it. It's even more obvious that you're wearing something." They really should not have done a body shot of her at this particular moment. The veil should have somehow stayed connected to her as she pulls it down, so we can kind of see, and her arms maybe move in front of her body in order to kind of hide as she kind of spins around. And the spin should have been not quite as dramatic to move the hair as much as it did. This is really nitpicking, but it does take me out of her being an ape.
I'm going to probably get roasted for this. It's not nitpicking, it's tit picking, because that's all I saw at that point. I'm just like it feels like people that are trying to so overtly make a sexual moment.
Right.
That doesn't need this overt behavior. I think your idea of where you don't show her full body. And she's already, again, she's a beautiful woman. Her eyes are gorgeous. And in that moment, she could be sexual without showing her curves.
Well, this may have been a direction specifically from Tim Burton about her, because she is that person that he wanted to have this to come through in the screen to make her this sexy ape, to make her that, because they haven't revealed her name yet, have they?
No.
Okay.
Nope. They have
Okay.
not given
All
me
right.
that yet.
We haven't dropped that bombshell yet. I know
Okay.
what it is.
Right. But I mean, if you've watched this film, you know that they're trying to evoke somebody from
The past film.
the past film, and therefore her being sexy is
Right.
intentional.
Is it going too far when you try to bring in the ideas of how apes are like us and you try to make an ape sexy? It's already weird.
Yeah.
It's already weird in the original ones when Taylor and Zira kiss and they kind of do all that little stuff. I think that this may have been that place where the director, in my opinion, needs to go, this doesn't work.
Right.
Because people are going to be like, ooh, I don't want to. I'm not sure I want to see an ape being sexy and getting
But
ready to.
I wouldn't even call it an ooh necessarily as in gross as much as it's just not done well. Therefore, it's
Maybe.
weird.
Maybe.
Like it's odd.
Yeah, I think when you get into the new films, because you eventually see some interactions, man to woman, male to female ape, I think that pulls off pretty well because they make it just a simple honesty of connections with them, that they have a pairing, and they don't make it into this. And I think it is that juxtaposition of putting in true sexuality atop of it and making it human sexuality when we know that I don't know. I think it's just across the board. It's such a bad decision.
I mean, we were supposed to have a moment talking about the fact that she's the young woman and he's the old senator, right?
Maybe that helps.
This could play
True,
into
yeah.
it. This could play into it, but we almost need an introduction into the scene somewhere.
I agree.
We need to see them be more flirty at the dinner table and talk about something later on, or that kind of, or some setup into this scene right here before just jumping right into it after the chase scene. I mean, it's a weird cut, weird jump into an even odder moment.
Wow. There have been things over since, and I don't mind pulling the curtain back. We did 2 weeks at once. So for the past 10 episodes, I think there are some good things with performances. I think, again, Tim Roth, Helena, I think that this man with playing the orangutan, he's brought some wonderful things to it.
Right.
It's just very ham-fisted what they're trying to cram in here and how fast it seems like they're trying to cram it in so they can get somewhere.
Hopefully we're getting somewhere. I mean, I don't care. I still don't care about these humans. I don't care about them at
anybody.
all.
Helen is the only one that I almost care about.
You know what I care about? I care about the monkey that we lost in the pod at the beginning of the thing that we don't know where Pericles is. Where's Pericles?
Fuck Pericles. Fuck him. All right, that is it. That is minute 40. We will move on. We will shut down. We'll get going again, and we'll be back tomorrow with another In Between. Until then, everyone have a great day.
Bye, everybody.